what we've really come to understand is it's the hand action that actually drives.
If you have good hands, you know what to do with your hands. So much works back into the body, and the golfer they're empowered when they know how to use their hands properly. Gentlemen.
So welcome to everyone to today's fantastic webinar, and what we have is a very special webinar that is how to compress the golf ball by building a solid impact zone, follow through and finish. All the important parts. Nothing matters until the impact zone and follow through is worked out, and that's what clearly makes the ball go straight. So welcome Martin and Peter.
Well, thanks very much, Chris Beckett. And
pleasure to be with you guys.
It's a pleasure to be with you too, Martin, and to all the folks there that are here to share this special area of the golf swing, the moment of truth and beyond. Yeah.
But Peter, I didn't know you were going to wear blue. We should have color coordinated so we didn't look like we were bookends.
All right. Okay. Well, it's just it's a blue sky down here that makes you want to wear blue. It's a beautiful day here in Rosebud on the Mornington Peninsula, just south of Melbourne, and we've got good news today. My brothers are in Queensland, and Chris Beckett's in Queensland. And today, this morning, we got permission from the Premier of Queensland that she's opened the borders to us Victorians to come north.
Well, good for you. Go visit your brother. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Go see Chris.
And see Chris. We'll play a bit of golf and do a bit of fishing. But we'll have to follow through, you see.
That's right.
Whatever you do in life, that it's the important thing is always following through with what you decide.
Absolutely.
If you're going to hit the golf ball, you need to follow through.
All right, so I'll just introduce these, the two of you. So basically, Peter Croker is an Australian champion, both in teaching and playing. He finished second in the Australian PGA Championship in 1976, was 2008 Victorian PGA Teacher of the Year. Had the cover, probably the only Australian to have the cover golf story in Golf Digest. Is it right, Peter, in 1995?
Yeah, I don't know. At this stage, they don't normally give a cover story to a golf coach. They usually reserve that for a tour player. So I think I was one of the first to get the cover on that way, but it was only because of the technique, that we discovered, which is this educated hands and how to use them effectively to control both the club and you and the golf ball, of course.
Oh, and obviously you're the founder of the Croker Golf System. You study directly under teachers and coaches such as Paul Runyon, Tom Tomasello, Norman Von Noda, Charlie Earp, Paul Hart, and other leading coaches, including Martin Chuck. Okay.
Yeah. And sharing ideas is really important, I think, and it's great to work with great coaches, and I am very lucky and honoured to be working with Martin. He's one of the best.
Yeah, he's one of the best, and he's a top 100 coach in America. Studied with the world's best ball striker, Canadian legends Mo Norman and George Knudson. Founder of the Tour Striker Golf Academy and presenter and educator on Golf Pass, previously called Revolution Golf. So welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get into the impact zone. And impact zone basically equals the moment of truth, the moment you know if it's good or bad, pretty much, right off the bat.
Exactly.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the impact zone and the moment of truth.
Well, Martin, do you want to have a shot at it first, because you got your big hockey stick there, haven't you?
I do. I do.
So could you share with us a little bit on this moment, this line of compression?
I always call it, I joke, I say it's a line that people without understanding start complaining, because they don't really understand the difference between impact, follow through, and finish, and the intent on getting to a follow through and then slowing down in style into a finish. And, we had a lovely talk the other night, just talking about what we were, how we were going to team up this evening. And we were talking about some follow through concepts, and it reminded me fondly of George Knudson and how he trained people. But you know, that your background, which inspired me as a young man to kind of seek you out when I was young, and you came to Southern California. I think I was 26 or 7. That's a long time ago. Was, you know, the way you kind of described some of the golf machine concepts, and you simplified it and boiled it down to some basic things of address, impact, follow through, and finish. And then in your kind of way of spinning it, how people can get there with, I wouldn't say ease, but understanding so that they could accomplish their goals. And
Yeah, so,
I love using a hockey stick just because it's got a nice big face on it, and people put their hands on well, and it's just easy to get into the alignments. The alignments are so critical.
excellent. You know, so I'll have a little bit of a shot at just showing the difference between the address position and the impact position, because this was a big surprise to me when, first of all, as a tour player, when I was playing, the moment of, that moment of impact, you normally find it by trial and error, so you don't exactly know exactly where things are necessarily supposed to be, but you can feel it. So actually, being a student of Homer Kelly's work, I realized that it was really important to understand what Ben Hogan and guys like Mo Norman and Tiger Woods and all the great players do. That they really compress the ball through there, and they have what we call an impact zone. It's I was always really I couldn't understand how someone like in my era of playing, Ben Hogan had what we call the ability to hit through the ball and stay in the shot. You could have compressed the ball at up to 12 inches anywhere in that area. He would hit the ball with solid compression and go straight. So we call it an impact zone. It's the difference between, first of all, the beginning is address. So everything at address, if you're going to play an orthodox, you're going to hit a parallel stance to your target line. Shoulders, hips, knees, and feet. Club face aiming at the target. And the hands in the middle of the body. Now, at impact, it's not the same as address. I always like to say it doesn't spell the same, so it has to be different. So when I am at impact, address, my hips are parallel. At impact, can you see how the left hip's cleared? I didn't do it with the right. It's not a right hip action. The right, otherwise I get out over the top. It's the left hip clearing correctly. And when it does that, the shoulders, they respond. They don't go around with the hips. The shoulders go down because the hands cause you to go down this way. So your shoulders.
Yeah, that's gorgeous right there. I love that look.
Yeah. So what?
Interesting, Peter. So if I stop you there for a second, right? I don't want to keep you frozen there in time, but for the viewers watching that was something taught to Matthew Wolff, right? So Matthew Wolff, like what you're doing right there in that impact position with the open hips, his coach, George Genkus, taught him to do that. He did that so much, he just made that a part of his routine. And that's why you see his, you can see him going into that position. He's got his primer move, which is very distinct, that it's his goal to kind of feel that opening position of his lead hip and how his hands kind of get organized into an impact condition. You're doing it perfectly right there. Now, not so many people do it as elaborately as he does, but he obviously liked the feeling so much that he made that a part of his full-time game.
Yeah, the forward press, and he's extreme. Another fellow called Roger Davis had a big forward press. Gary Player had one. The forward press is a miniature impact. In as you said in Matthew Wolff's case, it's not a miniature. It's the whole shooting match. But at impact, the difference being that as I fire the club head down in the correct downswing path, as we worked on in our last webinar, the result is through the bottom of the swing, the hands are you're not trying to be there. It's the direction of the hit is promoting it. And at impact, the hips are well clear. The shoulders are really a lot more rocked down than they were at address. And that pivot is what transports the hands, so you got that forward lean on the shaft. And right at the beginning here, can you see my right arm? It's a little bit bent at address, but at impact, it's a lot more bent even.
Oh, completely.
And that's where you get that extension. Now you got the punch action, and the right arm really can power into the ball, and you can effectively use the right hand to compress that ball.
You know, to your point, we call it, you know, we gave it the name at my golf school, the cornerstone, because the cornerstone is so important that it holds up the rest of the building, so that when a student comes to see us, this event of learning how to go from address into follow through, you know, working through impact, the trail shoulder lower, the pelvis a bit more open, the trail elbow bent, you know, those elements of learning how to use your hands properly to make your body respond, and hitting to both arms straight to follow through, not to finish. That's a huge part of the morning of day one of my golf school, just because most people don't know what that is. They've never done it before. They may have played golf. They may have had experience in golf for 20, 30 years. The problem is they've had that the same 1 year of experience 30 times. They've never had a new experience to teach them how to have that impact, to have that compression, that impact zone, as you call it, as a trail arm goes to both arms straight, to really get the feeling of what it's like to really squeeze a golf ball. You know, I think that if you learn that feeling, that's like the addiction of golf. Like, it really is. Like, that compression, I think that's why most people love to play the game.
What we've really come to understand is it's the hand action that actually drives
If you have
the life.
good